Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in the previous session, we have discussed about integrated rate equations to determine the rate constant of a zero order reaction as well as first order reaction. And even we studied the graphical representation, that is again calculation of rate constant of a zero order as well as first order reactions by graphical method. So we come across different plots. Okay. Well, in this session we go for some additional concept, that is integrated rate equation for a gas phase reaction, that is integrated rate equation for rate constant of a first order gas phase reaction. Well, in the earlier case, what we said, it is the solution form. All reactants and products are present in their aqueous form. Okay, but now we are specifying the reactants and products are present in a gaseous state. So that reaction follows the first order kinetics. So first order and all the reactants involved in the balanced equation are gaseous species, hence it is a gas phase reaction. So what we are discussing, we are going for integrated rate equation for rate constant of a first order gas phase reaction. Well, here I considered a general form. One of the general first order gas phase reaction, A gives rise to B plus C. So here A indicates gaseous reactant, B and C indicates the gaseous product. One thing here you have noticed that I specified a one type of gaseous reaction which involves 1 mole of gaseous reactant to give 1 mole of B product and 1 mole of C product. So it's a one kind of example. Not necessary that all gaseous reactions holds good the same equation. In the sense, integrated rate equations are to be derived every time based on the balanced gaseous phase equation. Okay. Well, I considered a general gaseous equation of A gives rise to B plus C. Say A is a gas, B is also gaseous species, and C is also gaseous species. We know that concentration of gaseous reactants and products are specified in the in terms of their partial pressures. As I said already, other than gaseous phase, their concentrations are specified as a molar concentration, while in gaseous reactants and products, their concentrations are specified in terms of respective partial pressures. Well, when I consider at zeroth time, when t is equal to 0, it means reaction is not yet begin. What about B and C at that time? There is no product at all. In the sense, there is no B molecules and C molecules. Then there is no quotient of partial pressure of B and partial pressure of C. So when T is equal to 0, whatever pressure exerted, it will be pressure of only reactant molecules. So I consider let Pi atmosphere be the initial pressure of A. So what that Pi atmosphere indicates, it is the initial pressure of a reactant, that is gaseous reactant A. So PT is the total, PT atmosphere is the total pressure at a time T. Means after a certain time interval, what happens? Part of the reactant is get converted into product molecules. Now at that time, A also exhibit its partial pressure. The product molecules B and C also contribute towards the total pressure. Therefore, I consider PT atmosphere is the total pressure at time T. Now the thing is, when you look at the stoichiometry of the equation, 1 is to 1 is to 1. It indicates if one mole of A get consumed, at the same time what happens? 1 mole of B will be formed and 1 mole of C will be formed. So in terms of their partial pressure, say if X atmosphere is the decrease in the pressure of A, okay, if X atmosphere is the decrease in the pressure of A at a time T, what happens? What about B and C? Their quantity increases, so pressure also increases. By what factor? The factor by which pressure of A decreases, with the same factor pressure of product molecules increases. Then what I can say here? So if X atmosphere is the decrease in the pressure of A at a time t, then increase in the pressure of B and C will be also X atmosphere each. Means if X is the decrease in partial pressure, with the same factor pressure of B and C increases. So at time t, so A, its pressure decreases. Pi initial pressure minus X, so Pi minus X at a time t. What about pressure of B? X atmosphere. And what about C? X atmosphere each. Okay, that's what I said here. So after time t, partial pressure of reactant A is indicated as just a Pa atmosphere. So what is that Pa? Pa will be equal to Pi minus X atmosphere. Well, say A gives rise to B plus C gaseous reactant. So at time 0, at T is equal to 0, at 0th time reaction is not started. So whatever the pressure exerted will be pressure of reactant alone. So I consider Pi atmosphere. What about product? Product is not formed yet. Therefore pressure of B will be 0 and that of C is also 0. Further, what I said, at a time t, at certain time t, what happens? Part of the pressure decreases. So that a decrease in pressure is considered as a X atmosphere. So at time t, pressure of A will be initial pressure minus that factor by which pressure decreases. So Pi minus X atmosphere. And what about B and C? X atmosphere each. Okay. Well, now further what I said, the total pressure at a time T will be, that is Pt is equal to sum of the pressure of all the components. So at time t, total pressure Pt is equal to A Pi minus X plus what about B? X atmosphere plus what about C? X atmosphere. So we simplified, Pt is equal to Pi plus X, or else we have to find out that factor X. So X is nothing but it is the Pt minus Pi. So what Pt? Total pressure minus Pi initial pressure. Total pressure minus initial pressure gives the pressure by which, okay, or I can say the factor by which pressure of A decreases, at the same time the factor by which pressure of B and C increases respectively. So we got the X here, X is equal to Pt minus Pi. Well, further, the partial pressure of A at time t, what I said, partial pressure of A of component, that is reactant, at a time t, that Pa will be equal to Pi minus X. So Pa, partial pressure of A component at a time t, so Pa is equal to Pi minus X. So Pi minus, what is X here? Pt minus Pi, so we are substituting that. So Pi minus into the bracket Pt minus Pi. If you simplify, what it will be? So Pa is equal to 2 Pi minus Pt. So Pi minus Pt plus Pi. So Pi plus Pi, 2 Pi minus Pt. So Pa, pressure of reactant at a time t, Pa is equal to 2 Pi minus Pt. Okay. Well, now if I consider rate constant of a first order reaction, what it says, K is equal to 2.303 by T log of initial pressure of reactant, okay, divided by pressure of reactant at a time T. So what is the initial pressure? Pi. What is the pressure of reactant at time T? We said Pa. Okay. So K is equal to 2.303 by T log of Pi divided by Pa, or else K is equal to 2.303 by T log of Pi divided by, what is Pa? 2 Pi minus Pt. Okay. So what are the terms in node here? So here K indicates the rate constant of a first order gas phase reaction of type A gives rise to B plus C. Okay, so what is pi? Pi is the initial pressure of reactant. What is pt? Total pressure at a time t. Okay, so by knowing initial pressure and a total pressure at a time t, one can get the rate constant of such a type of reaction equations. So here what is to be remembered is, for every time for a given in, okay, for a given gas phase equations, one has to derive the integrated rate equations. So whatever the equations I got, this equation correspond to a reaction of type. What is that? A gives rise to B plus C, having stoichiometry 1:1:1. Well, it is regarding integrated rate equation for first order gas phase reactions. I hope you got this. Well, say whenever, if I consider the mathematical form of integrated rate equation for zero order, first order, and even we consider a first order gas phase reactions. So for zero order, what is that K? K is equal to R naught minus R divided by T. Okay. So here R naught initial concentration of reactant, and R square bracket R indicates the concentration of reactant at a time T, and K rate constant of a zero order reaction. At that there we said T, there we have a T, that is time, that a time, that T value specifies time taken by a reaction. Similarly, in the first order integrated rate equations, that is K is equal to 2.303 by T log of R naught by R, here also that T indicates the time taken by a reaction to complete. Okay. Well, so here T specifies in the both the cases, zero order as well as in the first order, that T specifies the time taken by a reaction to complete. Now, what is that K? I said significance of K. It signifies the velocity of a reaction, or I can say speed of a reaction, right? Higher the K value, as we said, higher the K value, faster is the rate of a reaction. Smaller the K value, slower is the rate of a reaction. Similarly, by knowing the value of T, one can even specify the nature of a reaction. Okay, so here K and T both are inversely related in the expression. So in the sense, here T, smaller the T indicates higher the K value. If K is high, rate of a reaction is high. Larger the T value, smaller is the K. If K is smaller, what about rate? Rate of reaction is slow. In the sense, we can interrelate these three quantity: rate of reaction, K rate constant, and time taken by a reaction. Now, instead of calculating T, one can calculate half of the time taken. Okay, half of the time taken to complete the reaction. Okay, that concept is dealt or studied under the title half life, or I can say half life period. Well, what it is actually, how we are going to define is that time taken by a reaction. Time taken by reaction for what? To reduce the concentration of any of the reactant to exactly half of its initial value. Okay, say for example, there are 100 moles of reactants present. Okay, to convert all 100 moles of reactant into product, say it takes 20 minutes. What it is, that 20 minutes specifies the T value, T, time taken to complete all the reactant into product, 100 molecules of reactant into product. Now what that half life period says, it is the time taken by reaction to complete half of the, exactly half of the initial value. Means, as I said, if 100 means half, means to convert 50 molecules into product, how much time taken? It specifies the half-life period. So what is the definition? Time taken by reaction to reduce the concentration of any of the reactant to exactly half of its initial value. Half means, even I can say 50% of its initial value is called half-life period. Okay, well, the another way of defining half-life period of a reaction is defined as the time during which the concentration of reactant is reduced to half of its initial concentration. So half-life period we can define in two ways. One, time taken by the reaction to reduce the concentration of any of the reactant to exactly half of its initial value, or else what I can say, the time during which concentration of reactants is reduced to half of its initial concentration. So it's called half-life period. Well, how we are going to abbreviate or how we are going to represent this half-life period means it is represented with the symbol T half. T half, okay, subscript small t subscript 1 by 2 or else T 50%. Well, what is the significance here? As I already said, by correlating half time, rate constant and velocity, one can specify the nature of a reaction. Okay, so it indicates the significance of a half-life period. So what I can say, with the help of half-life period we can compare the rates of different reactions. So smaller the value of half-life period, faster is the reaction, and vice versa. As I already mentioned, that the T is inversely related to K. Therefore, one can say here, smaller the half-life period, greater is the K value, hence rate of a reaction is high. Okay. On the other hand, larger the T half, or I can say time period taken, smaller will be the K value, hence less is the speed of a reaction, okay, or slow is the rate of a reaction. So it is the significance of half-life period. What is to be remembered here? Smaller the value of half-life period, faster is the reaction, and vice versa. So it is the significance of half-life period. Now we have zero order as well as first order. So for both type of reactions, one are going to have different half-life period expressions. Well, regarding the first one, what is that? Half-life period of a zero order reaction. Well, again here one has to remember the definition. What is that? What is a zero order reaction? The reactions in which rate of a reaction is proportional to zeroth power of concentration of reactant species involved in a rate law or rate expression. So well, so for zero order, what is the K? How we are going to get the K value? So for zero order, the rate constant of a zero order reaction is given by K is equal to R naught minus R divided by T. So R naught initial concentration of reactant, R concentration of reactant at time T. So what this T specifies? Time taken by reaction to complete or decrease the concentration from R naught to R. Okay, so is considered as a equation 1. Now when T is equal to T half means if time taken for a reaction to complete, if I consider half life, half of the time required. So when T is equal to T half, what about concentration of reactant left? That concentration of reactant left will be equal to half of the initial concentration. So when T is equal to T half, concentration of R will be equal to half of the initial concentration. So R naught divided by 2. So we are substituting these T and R values in equation 1. So K is equal to R naught minus, at the place of R, what I am writing? R naught by 2 divided by, at the place of T, we are writing T half. So K is equal to R naught minus R naught by 2 divided by T half, or else K is equal to R naught divided by 2 into T half, or else by rearranging, what I am going to have? T half is equal to R naught divided by 2K. Okay. So here when you look at the relation, say half-life period, R naught initial concentration, and K rate constant of a zero order reaction. So what is the relation here? T half and K both are inversely related. So higher the T half, lower is the K value, hence less is the rate of a reaction. Okay. Smaller the T half, it means larger is the K value, hence rate of a reaction is high. So that, as I said, the significance of half-life period, one can specify the speed of a reaction or rate of a reaction. Okay, it is the derivation for half-life period of a zero order reaction. How we derived? Just we considered integrated rate equations. Then when T is equal to T half, R becomes equal to R naught by 2. We substituted those values and simplified. So we got T half is equal to R naught divided by 2K. Now it's a rate constant, a constant. If you remove these two constants, what is the relation? Half-life period is directly proportional to initial concentration of a reactant, which indicates the half-life period of a reaction depends on the initial concentration of reactants. How they are related? Both are directly proportional. Okay. Well, coming to the next one, half-life period of a first order reaction. So, first order rate of a reaction is proportional to first power of concentration of reactant species involved in a rate law or rate expression. And for first order reaction, what about rate constant? The rate constant of a first order reaction is given by K is equal to 2.303 by T log of R naught by R. So R naught initial concentration of reactant, R concentration of reactant at time T, and what is K? K is the rate constant of a first order reaction. Well, so it is considered as equation 1. Again here also we have to go for consideration when T is equal to T half. Okay, then what about R? Concentration of reactant will be half of the initial concentration. So I can say when T is equal to T half, concentration of R is equal to R naught divided by 2. Okay, initial concentration by 2, half of the initial concentration. Further, what you have done? These values are substituted in the equation 1. So I can say K is equal to 2.303 by, instead of T, what I am writing? T half. Okay, log of R naught divided by, at the place of R, what you have to write? R naught divided by 2. So on simplification, so I am equating for T half. So T half is equal to K is taken on other side. So 2.303 divided by T log of. So 2 goes to the numerator, R naught R naught both cancelled. So it will be log 2. Okay. So T half is equal to 2.303 into log 2 value 0.3010 divided by K. So if you simplify this, T half is equal to 0.693 divided by K. Okay. So it is an expression, that is half-life period of a first order reaction. Okay, T half is equal to 0.693 divided by K. And here also, if you look at the relation between K and T half, both are inversely related. So I can say higher the T half value, smaller is the K, hence rate of reaction is less or slow. Smaller the T half value, more is the K value, hence rate of reaction is high. So that is what significance of half-life period. One can specify the speed of a reaction or velocity of a reaction. Smaller the value of T half, faster is the rate of reaction, and vice versa. And when I look at the expression, there is no any concentration terms involved. Just 0.693 divided by K. In the sense, I can say half-life period of a first order reaction doesn't depend on the initial concentration of reactant. On the other hand, for zero order, what is the expression we got? T half is equal to R naught divided by 2K. In the sense, I can say half-life period of a zero order reaction depends on the initial concentration of reactants. But what about first order? Half-life period of a first order reaction does not depend on the initial concentration of reactant species. Okay, so it is regarding half-life period of a first order reaction. Okay, well, regarding half-life period, some important things to be remembered is, say, what is the first one? The relationship between half-life period, order of a reaction, and concentration of reactant species. So how they are related? T half is proportional to 1 divided by A raised to n minus 1. Okay, or else I can say T half is proportional to A raised to 1 minus n. That can also be considered. So for nth order, here A indicates the concentration of reactant species, N indicates the order of a reaction, T half-life period. So we are looking for relation between half-life period, order of reaction and concentration of reactants. What is the general expression to be remembered here? T half is proportional to 1 by A raised to n minus 1. Well, say for example, at the place of n, if I consider 0, for 0 order reaction, okay, if I place at the place of n, if I place 0, what it would be? T half is proportional to 1 divided by A raised to 0 minus 1. It means A raised to minus 1. A raised to minus n is taken to the numerator. So what it is? T half is proportional to A. That's what we are getting. So if n is equal to 0, that is for 0 order reaction, T half is proportional to 1 divided by A raised to 0 minus 1. It means 1 divided by A inverse A raised to minus 1. So it is taken to the numerator. So it will be A raised to 1. So now what I can say? For 0 order reaction, half-life period is directly proportional to concentration of reactant species. Okay. So T half is directly proportional to A raised to 1. So simply I can say directly proportional to concentration of reactants. Similarly, if you go for first order, if n is equal to 1, okay, so T half is proportional to 1 divided by A raised to, at the place of n, now I have to write 1. 1 minus 1 means A raised to 0. Okay, anything raised to 0 means 1 again. So T half is proportional to 1. In the sense, half-life period of a first order reaction does not depend on the concentration of a reactant species involved. Okay. Well, similarly, if you go for second order, say n is equal to 2, then T half is proportional to 1 divided by A raised to 2 minus 1. Or I can say 2 minus 1 means A raised to 1. So T half is proportional to 1 by A. So 1 by A in the sense, here for second order, half-life period of a second order reaction is inversely proportional to concentration of reactant species. Well, so it is regarding half-life period of a zero order, first order reactions, and even we considered integrated rate equation for first order gas phase reactions. I hope you understood these concepts. Again, in the next session, we talk about some other topics, or you can say concept of chemical kinetics. Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Like,
Comments
share,
and
subscribe.